It seems like every other week since the pandemic, we've been getting mixed messages about our economy. We've seen record low unemployment and then record inflation. Wages are up, but so are most of our receipts. So where does it leave us? Every year, the U.S. Census Bureau tries to find out the answer to that question. And today, the results are in. And Kent, not exactly encouraging.
Yeah, not exactly, Sharon. Every year, except for 2020, the Census Community Survey gathers data about pay and the impact of inflation to come up with a median income. And while paychecks generally improved both nationally and locally last year, it didn't generally lead to more income.
If you're looking for a glimpse into our current economy, Thursday morning at Joyce Uptown Food Shelf can serve up some perspective. On one hand, they've never had more food coming in. But even as a big delivery from Second Harvest Heartland fills the basement, and new sources for fresh produce fill their shelves upstairs, they're still struggling to meet demand.
This morning we went to 4 different grocery stores and got food, and we got 2 van loads of food. All of that food will be gone. Our shelves will be empty tonight, and we'll refill them tomorrow from a different grocery store.
All of this food.
All of this food, with the exception of some of these cans, will be gone tomorrow. Yeah.
And for Executive Director Matthew Ayers, that's been the story for more than a year.
We were here last summer,
Yeah.
and you had never seen levels the way they were.
Yeah.
You're saying it hasn't gotten better in the last year.
It hasn't. It's continued to rise. We had a record in May, we had a record in June, we had a record in July. In just August, we had another record. So we're serving more people than we ever have. We're putting out more food than we ever have. And we're getting more people knocking on our door that have never come through our door before looking for food assistance.
In some ways, the Census Bureau's latest American Community Survey reflects that same dichotomy.
We're seeing that paychecks are increasing between 2021 and 2022, but they haven't increased as much as inflation has. So we've seen real median household income decline in this last year's period.
Minnesota state demographer Susan Brower says Minnesota's declining median income follows the national trend. And the last time we've seen a decline like this was around the Great Recession in 2008. But while the poverty rate here did tick up again last year, she says it's still nearly 2% lower than it was when it peaked in 2014. And she says both unemployment and inflation data have improved in our state since this survey.
This is showing us a moment in time, but doesn't necessarily reflect where we are today toward the end of 2023.
There just seems to be a lot of different numbers telling us a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So where should we think about where we're at right now?
Yeah. So I can say, big picture, we have not returned to where we were before the pandemic. So we still remain at a place that's challenging for a lot of Minnesota families.
The food shelf is certainly seeing that every day.
People that are poor are staying poor. People that are middle class are kind of being cut into different sections. We're serving about 300 more families than we were last summer every month.
But he says a more recent 20% drop in donations may concern him even more.
I worry that people that assume they're doing well don't have that little bit of extra money to give away. If people that have money aren't giving it, it kind of shows something's going on, that people are holding on to what they have as opposed to sharing it out.
Now, there is a whole lot more to this census data, including breakdowns in both income and poverty by race. For example, Brower says the drop in income is largely being felt by white Minnesotans. She says income was basically flat for Asian and Native American households, and black households actually saw a slight increase in income. But keep in mind, she says poverty among black Minnesotans, for example, is also up. So that seems to show that growing divide.
Right, Ken, and you mentioned in the story, too, that you had a chance to revisit the Joyce Uptown Food Shelf. So what is kind of like the morale like there? Are they exhausted? Are they obviously worried? What else are they feeling?
For now, they're just very grateful that they can keep meeting that need. They have been seeing demand overall go up, but for now, they're able to meet it. That's the question that they have as they see maybe donations start to tick down in dollars.
Yeah, and hopefully the holiday season will notch that back up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kent.